I got a deal about the church right here. So yesterday was the teacher night. Each teacher. And after that, they do lessons with campus. And you know what Linda done? Oh, yeah, all right. So tell me, just so I'm not mistaken, what the denomination of Brother Church? That's exactly what I thought. So he had retired from the Church of Christ. Now he works for Methodist up in Fort Worth. So he also decided to use the free church of Christ. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, Church of Christ was different. I like that. Had to go there. Oh, okay. Yeah. I need my spectacles here.
I was only probably one that call it
I don't see any.
Thank you. That's okay. See you.
Protest.
Not yet. Oh, it don't worry. It'll happen. If they don't do it today, they'll do it tomorrow. Good. I expect them to be here today, though, but you know, if they don't, that's not gonna hurt my feelings. They got other things to do too. Man, I went in yesterday. I got a headache. I started cheering. I went back over here. Yesterday to get that work done by the contractor. They wouldn't touch me. They said they would go get an MRI on my neck. They're afraid because I've got something, you know, pinched up there or something. I never heard that before. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. You got it? We wearing them. All right. Notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting of the Hill County Commissioners Court. This, the 24th day of August, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. We'll call this meeting to order. Let the record reflect this meeting was posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 551, better known as the Texas Open Meetings Act, and a quorum of commissioners is present established. Commissioner Crumpton is not due with us today due to illness. At this time, I need to make an announcement. It's a little different. Is anybody in this room feeling sick? Does anybody feel like they've got any of the symptoms, been exposed to anybody with COVID-19 in the last 10 days? If so, I'm gonna run you out. No offense, love you all. I just don't, I can't have a quorum of commissioners out with COVID. It'd be bad for business.
I'm not sure we've all exposed. I have.
No, I think everybody has. While we're on that, before we get to the first order of business, let's give you guys an update on where we're at with COVID situation. I have been extremely busy, so I haven't been posting updates on social media. I'll also tell you that the negativity on there and quite craziness have been somewhat making me hesitant to open my mouth there. Let's talk about what we do know. As of Friday of last week, that's the most recent numbers I have. We had 7 people on ventilators out at our hospital, and we had the county that is picked up an additional 8 ventilators in the previous 2 weeks in Mr. Hemrick's office and gotten them to the hospital. We're also picking up PPE, supporting schools, supporting local medical offices that are having a hard time getting it. So last Friday, we had 210 people affected in the last 30 days. Of that 14-day period, the end of that 30-day period, there had been somewhere over 120 of those folks. So we're seeing a massive insurge of this Delta variant. What we're being told right now, and as of yesterday afternoon confirmed this, there are no hospital beds open in Central Texas. There are no beds for more COVID patients. It is now a lottery system where somebody gets out, you get back in to some degree. You can't just walk into the hospital, expect to be admitted. I implore you, if you have not had the vaccine, please talk with your doctor about it. Yesterday, the Pfizer vaccine received the full certification from the FDA. This is a vaccine that was started in the 1990s. This technology has been around since Bill Clinton was president, if that puts it in perspective for you. This is not some crazy idea, something that's going to give your DNA a change. It doesn't do that. The vaccine is something that's been vetted by the greatest physicians in the greatest country in the world, and that's us. We know for one thing for sure, I mentioned the vaccine. The vaccine gives you the ability not to die. The majority of people winding up in this hospital are with this COVID-19 Delta variant are unvaccinated. About 95% of the people we're seeing in trauma region M are unvaccinated. They're taking up this hospital space. You're gambling with your own life. Does getting the vaccine mean you can't get corona? No, it doesn't. It means you can still get it, but it means that you won't have the bad outcomes like death, or you have very lowered outcomes of death and hospitalization. So I implore you, out of Christian love, I'm not here as a government to tell you what to do. I think you have a bit of self-responsibility to know what to do, but don't believe the Chinese propaganda. Don't believe the Russian propaganda. Don't believe the stuff you see online. Go speak with your personal physician about this choice and make a decision that's right for you. And the vaccine won't be right for everybody. God, I know that. I get it. There's people that have conditions that they can't. But please, out of love, do it for yourself. Do something to protect yourself. And if you protect the rest of your community, that's pretty good too, you know? So I think the golden rule applies here like it has since kindergarten. That's do unto others as you have them do unto you. I don't think that's a bad idea. Anyway, on with the bad news about COVID. Look, we expect this to get worse. Schools are starting right now. And what we're seeing is there's a school at Bynum, and they put out their notice yesterday that they are closing their school for the rest of this week because 25% of their staff is out with COVID, and numerous children as well. The TEA before last Thursday, was not even doing tracing. That means if we came into contact, you'd never know if we're students at the state school commissioner. They finally reversed that position on Thursday of last week, and they're at least making contact now. And our superintendents, I have another meeting with them today. They're doing an outstanding job under very troubling times. I couldn't be prouder of the group of individuals that local school boards have chosen to run our schools in this county. They're doing a wonderful job, but it's under very trying circumstances. So for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and maybe for the rest of the year, because I'm not a scientist and I don't know, please do everything you can to keep yourself safe. Do what you can to make sure you protect your health and that of your community. If you're not comfortable with a vaccine, I get it, but I don't see it. Please go talk to your doctor. Don't be uncomfortable because something you read on some social media page somewhere. All right, I'll step off my soapbox at this time and apologize for that. But at this time, Brother Prudhomme, would you lead us in the invocation?
Would y'all pray with me? Loving and almighty God, we praise you this morning. We come before you in praise and thanksgiving for this world that you've given us to live in, for these lives that you've given us to live, for this place that you've given us to live in. Lord, we can't even begin to count all of the blessings that you've given to us yet this morning. We come before you asking for even more. We ask that you bless each one of us here. We ask that you bless this body of individuals you have called to lead your people. We ask that you bless them with wisdom, that you bless them with courage, that you bless them with empathy and love, that they may carry out the duties and the calling that you have given to them this morning. We ask that in everything, we all remember that you are love and you call us to love. God, we once again ask your blessings upon this time together. We ask that you be with us, that you guide us. We ask all of this in the name of your Son, the one you sent to save us, Jesus Christ.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Prudhomme. If you'll follow me in the pledge to American Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Oh, thank you all so much. Brother Prudhomme, have a wonderful week. Commissioner Montgomery, how are you doing this morning?
Doing well, precinct one. Running a little short-handed, but everybody's off either on vacation or we got some out sick, but we're plugging along there trying to get some of these FEMA projects done. Cutting trees, shredding, putting up street signs, all the normal stuff, you know.
All right. What's happening in precinct 3, Commissioner Hawkins? Good deal.
Doors in last week, so
Oh,
they should
wow.
be up sometime this week.
That's
So
exciting.
moving along, and that, keep brush cutter done, brush cutter in the shop, and nothing in front. Rock up.
Good deal. Good deal. Commissioner Lake, what's going on?
I was trying to work on 2 roads, culverts in, we put in, oh, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 in the last couple of months. And so, and we've got one short. So.
Just, I think from conversation we've had the last couple of days, as general point of rule, if you're planning on putting a culvert in a partage of a county road, make sure you call your commissioner first and let that part, you know, the chances of success of your culvert staying where you put it are much better at that point. So, Nicole, what's going on in county clerk's office this morning?
Nothing. It's working.
I don't believe it. I don't know how y'all work over there. All right, good deal. Tom, what's that emergency management?
Judge, you've already been on the soapbox, pretty much most of what we've been dealing with is COVID related. Been dealing a lot with the state, trying to make sure we stay ahead of the PPE, trying to stay ahead of just, I mean, the hospital, getting them staff, getting them equipment. We also, just for the sake of internal use, we do now have the ability internally to do some testing in-house. So
We have reached out to the Texas Division of Emergency Management, and they've made available certain things to us. One of them is a rapid test, is not the PCR test. However, internally for county employees, if we feel that we don't have the person power. We just don't have the manpower to do this countywide, and the state refuses to fund it, though we're back at the well again, asking again for testing from the state.
we're waiting on top of that. You know, there were some other monies supposedly that were supposed to, you know.
Yeah, so for county employees, to try to keep things operating a little quicker, we have some of those 15-minute tests. It's a cheek swab test. Now, if you come in, you get a 15-minute test from us. If you're a county employee only, is who this applies to. Then if it comes back negative, no worries. If it comes back positive, we recommend at that point you go get the PCR test. The accuracy and positivity rate on these 15-minute tests is not as high as I think it would need to be. So if you get a positive test from the county, you probably need to go back and go ahead and get a PCR test. We'll be putting more out to that to county employees.
Just on the record too,
Yeah.
there was a post posted last night, there were free tests at the fairground.
Yes, that is incorrect.
Just for the record, there is no free test at the fairground, and there is no free test in Hill County. While we have one entity that says the test is free, they are legally right. The test is free, but it costs you $200 to visit them to get that free test. So that's not exactly free last time on.
Yeah, there are no free tests in there. And I made the statement that there's no test without a doctor's meeting and got taken to school on that. This person meant that you don't have to see a doctor. I guess you can see their practitioner, their nurse or whatever, but it's still $200. I don't know of anywhere in Hill County offers a free test. Again, we're trying to get the government, the state to go along with testing again. We looked into doing it ourselves, but at $200 a pop, it gets incredibly expensive, incredibly quick. It's just beyond our range. So we'll see what we can do in those and keep you guys informed as it comes up. But yeah, there is no free testing at this time at the fairground. So I do appreciate you bringing that up. Bill, what you got?
Well, it continues to be a challenge to get equipment. Finally, I ordered a new laptop for Deputy Constable Cox, and it finally shipped out. Just got the shipping notification. I ordered that about 3 weeks ago. It's just now shipping out. I've got 8 computers, 8 monitors for the tax office that are still, waiting to be shipped, and so we're, still a challenge to get equipment. We do have 2 vendors coming out tomorrow to look at the county court law courtroom over here. And Judge, I think you wanted to also maybe come in here and take a look.
By all means, we want to look at that courtroom in this room. There's some technology upgrades I'd like to see us do in this room overall, and one of them being a projector. When this room gets redone, we're not going to let them start on it next week, but the week after, we have a bench trial in here. We need to get disposed of. It's been waiting over a year since COVID started. We're going to actually flip this jury box to the other side of the room. And what I would like to do is put a projector on this wall, so there's something that we could possibly do video presentations, display, so that all of our audience could see it when we do it. So,
You do everything.
well, yeah. I wouldn't hurt my feelings either, to be honest. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, so just an update on that. We're gonna have 2 different vendors coming out tomorrow, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, so we can get a couple of different competitive quotes to look at. And we did get wireless installed upstairs on 34, the DA's office yesterday. There was a cable hanging out, and wrap your face as soon as you walk in the doors, you got that all cleaned up, looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It works, that's what's important.
Exactly right. So let you guys know it.
So I think I'm gonna need to probably get an order in, I was kind of holding off, but I mean, just considering how long the pipeline is, to get equipment in, I'll probably need to put a place to order for some more wireless access points for the courthouse. Just to maintain the line.
No doubt, no doubt. So good deal. Thank you for that. Dave, anything you got to share with us today?
No, sir. Just trying to keep the jail population.
I appreciate your
control
efforts.
as much as we can.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. Anybody else? Tina, I know you're gonna get a chance to talk to us a little bit. Anything you want to share this morning? Constables? Treasurer, auditor? Yes.
Just the computers that we have in our car, Bill has got been working on, up to snuff on something we've been trying to do for the last 3 years.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you letting us know that. Oh, yeah. I'll talk about of next week. It'll be hectic. It'll get done. Scott, anything from the sheriff's office?
Just a full jail at 176, I think, this morning. But like the county attorney said, they're working trying to get this there. So hiring people is fast as we can.
Gotcha.
Hiring, training. Bring back the man who was a very good rehire. To help us out with the Tyler policy, issues we've had. So.
Good deal, good deal. All right, well, that sounds like we got a lot going on in this county. I thank you all for giving us a few minutes of your update and what we're up to. On the courthouse construction, let's talk about that. Things are moving along. We should be out of the second floor this week. We have Mr. Pratt, DA, scheduled to move back in the end of this week. So we're making some headway finally after all these months after Winter Storm Uri. I can see a little bit that needs to be done downstairs, and we can move indigent health back in the next 2 weeks is kind of where we're shooting at this point. Otherwise, the next floor that they're going to move to will be the first floor. We have some touch-up painting in here. The floor in this courtroom needs to be refinished. They have to replace and finish the floor in the JP office, replace and finish the floor in the first floor jury room. And then the third week of September, they start on the county court of law courtroom. So those things continue to move forward. As for the projects, we have a final set of plans, or 95% set of plans for Covington and for AgriLife. And we hope maybe in the next couple of weeks to bring that to you so we can put it all out for bid and get that moving along, which would be gangbusters for us. Otherwise, it stays particularly busy around here. Yesterday, I went to the title company, signed off on the lots that we purchased. They'll have the seller countersign and get us copies of it. I asked them for an electronic version of those copies, seeing how our clerk is going to have the originals in her file. I don't think we need to get a bunch of trees killed in the process. And then last but not least, we have followed up yesterday, as Mr. Lake did, regarding the purchase of the warehouse facility. There was some issues on the seller's end regarding their business organization, and I think they're getting that under control now. So hopefully we'll be moving along with those projects fairly well. When Crumpton gets back, we'll talk more about the west side property that we looked at with Judge Jatan 2 Fridays ago, and give you guys an update on that. Anyway, so that's kind of what's happening around here, plus budget and a lot of other things. At this time, let's move along. Is there anybody that's open forum today? Anybody that's here to speak to the court that doesn't have something, not an agenda item? Anybody at home? Nobody signed up for open forum? Okay. In which case, we're going to move along to our consent agenda. That's action on minutes of August 9th, 10th, 17th, invoices of August 24th, payroll of August 13th, and monthly report for revenue and disbursement. You'll find those in your packet. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion, additions or deletions or corrections to that agenda? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. That's the payroll. Moving along to court order number 1, that's discuss and or action to declare county property salvages. No, I'm sorry. Discuss and or approve employee wage status changes. So employee wage status changes today. We have Rachel Escobar, County Extension Agent. You met her 2 weeks ago, and we're happy to have her aboard. Kenneth Udy is a new hire and transport deputy. Welcome aboard, Mr. Udy. Ashley Shirley, also a new hire in the sheriff's office. We have Mr. Gary Melson as a new hire in the patrol division. Cody Dabo is moving on to greener pastures. Juliana Pereira has moved on. Victory Harrison lasted about 2 weeks. Christopher Jackson, promotion from corporal to patrol sergeant. Congratulations, Mr. Jackson. That young man's going places. Spencer Batchelor, promotion from corporal to patrol sergeant. And I'll tell you, that's another guy that I'm pretty proud of. Mr. Kevin Hughes, promotion from CID investigator to CID sergeant, very capable individual there as well. And Mallory Harris is dispatcher 2. So those are the payroll wage changes. Motion and a second to approve the payroll wage changes for the 24th day of August, 2021. Is there any questions, discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Anybody against it? Nope. All right. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. And time to get coffee because I'm stumbling over my own tongue again. All right. Discussing our action on county salvage surplus property. Gentlemen, I don't have any, but I told you this would be reoccurring on here for a couple of months as we went through this. So I have no action to take on 2 or 3 unless somebody else has something that needs to be sold. Nothing? Good deal. All right, now moving to number 4, we'll discuss and approve bonds. Bonds today, we have a blanket notary bond for the county court, for the county. And then we have errors and omissions policy for the sheriff's office. So that's good to go. We also have the individual notary bond for Miss Paula. And that's the bonds today. We have a motion and a second to approve bonds. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Number 5, discuss and approve 9-month budget report. Ms. Swilling, anything on that one today?
The utilities. Usage at this time.
We had good intentions, but I think Winter Storm Uri may have destroyed all those good intentions.
Well, surprisingly, no.
Really? That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Courthouse utilities. October of last year.
Courthouse, this is the TXU
Yes, ma'am.
deal.
Wow.
So our kilowatt usage is like 69% of the prior year. We should be at 83.3% with 10 months in out of the 12 months gone by. And then compared to the top line, the usage 366,560 divided by 725,600.
1920 today.
So 50% of last year, looking at the year.
That's
I mean,
impressive.
2 years ago.
2 years, yes, ma'am. I saw that. That is very impressive that we,
So I guess McKinnon Street isn't a number.
that's, it sounds like, but I need to, I hate to say that openly until I've done a little more digging, but it definitely, if you think of overall cost on that TXU meter on this courthouse in the 2018 year, which would be our fiscal year, October of 18 through September 19, was $40,480.96. And for this fiscal year, absent August, that is, we are only at $27,911.71. Last year, we were at $35,792.49. So there seems to be some savings. Our kilowatt hours is what we're really looking at here. Now, granted, we are missing a month on the current 2021, but our kilowatt hours are significantly lower. August of 19, we used 85,520 kilowatt hours, and this August we used 44,480 kilowatt hours. So it's pretty substantial.
Yeah, we're $7,000 a month. over the last 2 years.
We did something right. I like it.
It's been a lot milder.
Oh, now you just popping off.
What in the
Oh, weatherman over here, killing me.
February, we were pretty much at the extreme.
Yeah.
With enough fans running for everything.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I really thought it was going to be terrible, simply because, you know, they were plugged into our circuit to run the trucks outside and run this stuff. So I'm glad to see that wasn't.
Wonder what March was up, dollar-wise.
Maybe
That's
so.
probably the February deal, the March is probably reflecting.
Technically,
the February deal.
Yes, ma'am.
It's still not.
The way it's logged in there, but still.
I think it's going to take some time to see, but yeah, we'll run through their
Well,
metrics.
it wasn't not only the utilities that they were saying it would save us, but also like the repairs, for example, on the air conditioners at the sheriff and jail where they replace those units.
Yes, ma'am.
Not use the expensive refrigerant. And the next page is the courthouse, but anyway, the next page is the CXU jail.
Okay, yeah. That's dropped by about 25% from last year.
Yes, we like two bills on there, we're at 68% of the prior year and 41% of the 19, just looking at the total today. But all, you know, our current utility bid price was not quite as good as the other one, but it's still an exceptional rate. And we're still saving dollars and kilowatts.
Good deal.
For both, so, and then the water, the next page is the courthouse. It's really only measurable if we look at the 80 North Waco, that's the fourth one down.
Yes, ma'am.
On each little section, but still we've saved a tremendous amount of water. 142,700 gallons to date. And last year we used 218,700, and the year before 265,600.
Okay. And we've got 2 months left here, but we're averaging about 10, 11,000 gallons a month. And so even if that's 11,000 on 22,000, that puts us at 164. So we're still considerably under last year. Wonderful.
And, the water usage on the jail is even more significant.
They said they're going to save us some. Wow. Yeah, that's a big jump. Just comparing July at the Hall Street. In July of 19, we used 487,900 gallons. July of 20, 224,300 and 224,400 this July. So it's all right.
Holy crap. Is anybody taking a bath over there?
Getting cheap on the Scott? Yeah, and that's exactly right. Population has gone up considerably.
Right, that was extra to go with the budget report. The budget report, I think, going back to our report, we looked. When I just look at the third page again, it's kind of a 9-month comparison this year versus last year. And we're a little down on our expenses actually this year compared to last year, hardly compared to budget.
It really is, and I'm surprised, but really impressed with our elected officials. With all the disruption we had from Winter Storm Uri and the moves and the destroyed stuff and what we've gone back and forth, I think the electeds have done an incredible job this last year, so I appreciate it.
General recap, and if you want to go into.
Well,
If you have any questions?
There is one, and unfortunately, it's a more grotesque one. It's our autopsy and transport. And where are we running at? The just latest and greatest on that? We are having obviously an increased number of demand for expenses from that line item, largely due to COVID, but there's also other pressing factors there, and influx of population. And I'm looking at what I need to suggest to the commissioners next week, possibly for alterations to that line.
We'll have that, we're gonna do a budget workshop later on that.
Oh, okay.
I forgot the last 2 pages of this report, summarizes the sales tax collections. We already made our budget through June, our current year budget of $2,100,000. In June, we were, year to date, June, we were $2,188,000 for 20 in sales tax. So sales tax numbers are coming in really stellar. Insurance, I just kind of wanted to give you a recap. As of August 20th, we received $1,355,908, and of that, $165,178 is contents. We're still haggling over a little bit of a contents thing. With this, we were slow to get back up in, and we paid out $1,018,672 to the 2 contractors. And then the last page is just our sales tax history. Here at the bottom, where the zeros are, then our most recent sales tax was $342,032. That's more than it's ever been. Since 1988.
Wow.
That's an incredible number, really.
That's something else. That's
I don't think in any of the months, looking at them, I don't think any of them were that much ever. Oh, I'll take it back. I forgot in January and March of 2016, there were some audit adjustments that we received from the comptroller, which threw our numbers up for those 2 months. Anyway,
Good
a
deal.
lot to digest, but let me know if you have any questions.
Well, thank you very much. Do I hear a motion to observe and record the 9-month budget report? We have a motion, a second, to observe and record the 9-month budget report. Susan, thank you for taking the time to put this together. I appreciate you. It's very helpful in our budget process. Any further questions or discussions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 6, discussion and or action on
Have our certifications, only the one that.
Okay, well, we're going to jump number 6 and we're going to jump right to number 7, if that's all right, everybody. And that's discussion and or action on budget amendments. If I can just get my fingers to move the way I want them to. There we go. And what we have is the IT department budget amendment, and we are going to subtract $1,879 from part-time and move it to staff wages. I don't know who it is, I'm not going to answer it. And that is the amendment today. Motion and a second to approve the amendment. Is there anything further? If not hearing discussion, court calls question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. Number 8, discuss and or approve a contract agreement between Hill County and the 66th Judicial District and the Community Supervision and Corrections Department serving the 66th Judicial District in the courts of Hill County. Gentlemen, every year we re-sign this contract. There's no material changes in it from this year, from last year to this year. It simply changes the effective date. Will start the first day of September 2021. As you well know, that the state is on a fiscal year different than ours. It starts September 1, not our federal one. So that explains that. Otherwise, it is the same service agreement that we have seen many times before. I have a motion and a second to approve the community supervision, a contract between Hill County 66th Judicial District and the CSCD serving the 66th Judicial District. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Everybody against it? Anybody opposed, abstaining from it? If not, the ayes have it and the noes know it. It's on the very last page there, gentlemen. If you can sign the order for me. Number 9, discuss and or action on Hill County health insurance. We picked health insurance, but Rhonda has got some updates for us. What do we got, Miss Rhonda?
put it out on email and information.
So
There is a suggestion on here for a 5-tier, the 5-tier like we used to, using the same percentages that we're using now. Nick, y'all did a really good job of picking a policy, a big PPO policy. The increases to the employees are minimal. 640 is $6.40 per pay period for employees and spouses, $4.44 for employee and child, $2.52 employee and children, $8.10 for family. So those are small increases. If you'd like to see these, these numbers go away, I'll be glad to.
we've had this same split for a couple of years now, right? I mean, it's worked fairly well. I'm not hearing a lot of complaints at the county level. Who's forward. It's fair to the taxpayer because the employee pays some for their children, spouse, or otherwise in family. I would recommend we continue with the same percentages and split that we've moved forward with the last couple of years.
I think they'll see that much savings in a better present too.
I think you're right.
There are a couple things that y'all had mentioned that you wanted to change the effective date.
Yes, ma'am.
We can easily change it to the first of the month following a full month of employment, or the first of the month following 2 months of employment.
I guess the only thing that I have hesitation on, and I personally, my druthers is the first of the month after the first full month of employment. My only hesitation would be if someone was to file for the COBRA insurance, which has never happened as far as I'm aware of to this point, just because it's so expensive.
And we do have some.
Do you? Okay, well, tell me about that. I mean,
We never have very many because it is,
Okay.
I mean, most people are leaving because they're going to another job, usually.
we've got till 60 days to apply for that COBRA coverage.
There's a good 60-day grace period.
So the reason we've left it beyond that for some time is to make sure we're not, we don't bust the budget. I think it has been detrimental in hiring some of our new employees, getting some people onboarded, some employees onboarded by waiting 90 days. I would recommend that we take a chance and make it where at this point you have the health insurance becomes available to you as an employee the first of the month after your first full month of employment.
Okay. So that to give you an example, so it's clear, if someone started today in August, they would go, their full month would be September, and their insurance would start
October
in
1.
October. It'll make it easier on billing too, also.
So someone start August 2nd, they're looking at 2 months before they're fully insured.
Yeah, I believe it would be. If they started on
Yes.
August 2nd, it would be still September 1st.
But they would still
No,
be
no,
in
October
that
1st.
grace period, a 60-day grace period.
Yeah, our concern on that is not starting immediately. This comes down to budgetary purposes. When we pay for your health insurance, we're paying for a month in advance. So if we pay for your health insurance, hypothetically, we don't pay for health insurance on the first of the month, but let's say hypothetically, we paid it August 1st and you quit on August 2nd. Well, I've already paid that premium for the month for that employee. If you hire somebody else on August the 3rd to replace that employee, now, if I had it immediately, I'd have to pay another month forward at that point. And it's not, I believe that's how that would work, talking with everybody. And to me, we don't have the budgetary room to do that. However, that 90-day window is kind of excessive because we'll know within that what we're going to do. And we're going to have some people going COBRA, it sounds like. I didn't realize that. I didn't think anybody was on it. So, okay, well, that's fair enough. It's just what it is. That's the only concern is if you have somebody that goes on COBRA, but again, that's out of their pocket. They just paid for it. So that shouldn't really be an issue for us. I believe.
Now, if someone starts on the first of the month, if they start September 1, their insurance goes into effect in October, we're gonna take that first premium. If they add family members, we're gonna take that first premium out of the first check. So,
Our goal is to try to speed up how quickly new hire employees can get on the insurance as a benefit. Yes, ma'am.
Well, since we'll be contributing more for insurance that we probably aren't using, will that drop our rates?
I don't know the answer. That's a good question. And I'd have to talk, I don't know the answer to that at all. I'd ask people.
And so y'all want to go with the full month, that's
That's my,
first of the month after a full month of employment.
that's my druthers, but again, that's up to the group. It's still, okay. Oh, he did second it. Never mind. So, yeah. Well, actually, you seconded the split, but yeah, so, okay. So we've got a motion made by Judge Lewis and a second by Commissioner Lake to keep the split for the employee and spouse, employee child, employee and children, employee family, the same as previous years, the percentage. And then to change our eligibility date for insurance to the first of the month after the first full month. Did I say that correctly, Rhonda?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Did we want to look at any numbers of how much that might be costing us to do that?
I'd love to see some numbers on that. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know if we have anything to see, you know, I guess, and so we have that on the table. So let's talk about now the discussion on it. You know, my biggest fear is if we got a bunch of people in that stayed and got 2 months and then quit, 2 months and then quit. We're seeing people stay 3-4 weeks and quit, a month and quit. If you had some folks that didn't stick with it, yeah, they could become expensive real quick. And I guess that's one of my biggest fears. If you had a rollover, now people stay 6 months and quit, there's just not much you can do about that, you know, and even at the 3-month point, I think that was part of the incentive to stick it out for the first couple months on the job, you pass the tough times. I just think our hiring dynamic has changed in this
It
economy.
definitely will drive the numbers up. And I don't know.
It's gonna, yeah, depends on who comes and who goes, and I don't have a crystal ball, unfortunately.
We have been budgeting for everyone to have insurance the whole year. Budget's comprised of that, but then when we get to the end of the year, there's always extra money in health insurance, so that number will go down. We won't be having those extra numbers
Yeah,
be utilized.
yeah, if we get it where people come in and go out, no doubt at all.
Another concern is that, well, another good thing that is happening with changing to guardian insurance with the dental and everything else, including our voluntary benefits, is that we have one less invoice. In doing that, right now, with
Can we stay on the first two first, and let's take a vote so we don't get everybody confused. We'll take a vote on that one. No, not yet. Sorry, just open for discussion so everybody can have their 10 cents.
Okay.
Is there any other commentary, any other discussion regarding keeping the split for employees and their families the same, and for moving the start date from 90 days after you start till the first of the month after the first full month? No further discussion. If not, I'm going to call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion will carry. Go ahead. Thank you.
So, as I was saying, a good thing that has happened out of this change is that we are moving our vision and dental all to Guardian. We already have Guardian voluntary benefits. So that's one less invoice. The invoice is going to come all together, which we like, but that means that the Guardian benefits that we're right now paying in arrears are going to become due like the health insurance. So it will mean that there will be 1 month where there will be a double billing to employees, because if they elect to take voluntary benefits with Guardian and they already have Guardian benefits, they're paying a month behind right now. So we're going to have to catch up that month can start paying in the same month. So right now, you know, we said that that health insurance starts the month before. Guardian benefits are the month of. So we're actually paying for guardian benefits in August right now. So there's just that shoring up time, and it would hit on payroll, the pay date, September 10th. So if somebody chose not to take their guardian benefits, this time, you know, if they change it, there's just gonna be that 1 month that they've already got in this policy and then the new policy. So it would get them double.
How many employees do we have that are currently, that this could affect?
I think there are about, I want to say there are about 70 people that have some form of guardian or Texas line.
Okay, and how much are we talking about? I know it's going to vary from person to person depending on what they got.
It's just going to depend person to person. It could be as much as, you know, it might be $3 and change up to $60.
Okay, we can give them notice of this though, since we're going down this road, we can give them some advance notice, hey, prepare that this could be something one time, you'll get double billed, well, not double billed, because with the change, you're gonna pay for it twice. Okay. I know that it's gonna be a discomfort to employees, and I hate that, but moving forward, the best interest of the county is to continue and doing what we've already voted to do, which is to go with the guardian. It does provide an ease of transaction in the treasurer's office, as she stated, with putting a single invoice in instead of 2 invoices. And by having everything with one company, I think it's going to give us a little bigger voice, hopefully.
It's automated.
Okay. All right. So do you need a motion on that? Or since we've already previously decided to go this route, is that just more informational? This is what's going to happen.
I think you need a motion.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Just making you aware.
Thank you very much for
And
making us
also,
aware.
the first day,
No, go ahead. What you got?
I was just gonna say the first pay day, you know, we need to remember that on the wages. Well, the first pay day with the wage changes will be October 22nd.
Okay.
That's the first full pay period.
Yes, ma'am. All right, curiosity real quick. Let's talk about open enrollment.
Yes, open enrollment is, it's gonna be fast this year. It is gonna be Monday and Tuesday. Open enrollment will be open Monday and Tuesday. That's as fast as.
Online
insurance.
as well, or?
It will all be online.
Great.
We will have some kind of help for people to come and sit down with a computer and a person
Okay,
to do. We are struggling right now as to know where that's gonna be.
I understand. I completely understand that.
Does
I was,
anybody have any ideas of where we can?
they're supposed to be finished with the second floor at the end of this week, which would mean the law library would hyper-technically be open beginning of next week. That means hyper-technically the jury room would be open beginning of next week.
Will we have internet access?
Apparently we will,
So
yeah.
the law library is a good thought.
I think it'll be, let me go up there afterwards and let's nail it down this afternoon and let's get with these individuals with basic IDIQ that are representatives here on site and make sure that they can happen. If not, we will do it in the jury room. One of the 2 rooms they can have ready. They told me they would be off the second floor by the end of this week, but I'm always hesitant, no offense to those folks. It's just things happen in construction. So.
Well, we've been promised a much more streamlined enrollment.
Okay.
I think that it is gonna be better. A few people have gotten used to Navigator. They're gonna have Navigator. There is a little bit of education just to, you know, some of the changes, but they're good changes. So I don't have to. There is one change that is gonna happen. We're moving from, and we touched on it before, but we're moving from Texas live to what we have right now to Texas Republic. So anybody that has life insurance that we will move to Texas Republic, or they can pay directly to Texas Life.
The Aetna form, the Aetna form, what is that for?
That's an information form, and I
Thank you.
think we're answering most of that.
Good deal. Just saw it in the packet and reviewed it, thought I'd ask about it. All right, well, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Ms. Burkhart. Appreciate it. Looking forward to this new adventure we've got. Number 10, discuss and or approval of residential, non-residential contracts and interagency agreements for the Hill County Juvenile Probation Department. Chief Lincoln, how are you this morning?
Thank you.
Wonderful.
So again, I'm just here again for my yearly approval of interlocal and subsequent contract agreements. This is going to be for the service providers that we use for mental health services, as well as any of the residential facilities that we use, so that is secure, non-secure, and then those detention facilities. I'll speak really brief this morning, because I've got to visit you guys several times this summer.
Okay. Mr. Holmes, any concerns about any of these?
Those are recommended approval, yeah.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Let's give it just 1 second.
Absolutely.
All right. In which case, having everybody on board, is there a motion and a second to approve residential, non-residential contracts and interagency agreements for Hill County Juvenile Department? Any further discussion? We've heard a lot about this year, as the chief said. So if not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion will carry. There you go. Number 11, discuss and approve interlocal cooperation agreement between Hill County and Johnson County for use of a transport van. What you got here, Scott?
Well, the sheriff was contacted by Johnson County Sheriff's Office. They have ordered new transport vans. I guess they're in the same situation that we were in. We ordered ours to go for years for us to take possession of our vans. So they've asked if they could borrow one of our vans. Sheriff agreed. And so they went to the commissioner's court with it yesterday.
Okay.
It was approved. I think that's the one we have.
Cool.
Their attorney signed by them.
I do have see Judge Harmon's signature on it.
We know them are old, 16, for the transport van. We've already got it ready, did maintenance on it, make sure that it's roadworthy,
Mhm.
had it currently registered, took our chain out and stuff like that, so they're ready to get it.
The only question I got regards our insurance is our insurance coverage with them driving it.
So, yeah, not our insurance, they're actually covering it on theirs, they contacted tax recommendation for the commissioner's court with this MOU. And so in it, they agreed to pay any damages and do any maintenance.
Okay.
They're not going to pay us anything for this, so I
I
didn't see that.
didn't see that, and that wasn't ever brought up. I don't believe so. We have had another MOUs with that previously, but that was them doing us a solid and doing all of our training and stuff like that. So I
Gotcha.
think it's just in the spirit of cooperation.
Okay. Commissioners, your thoughts?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Motion and a second to approve a memorandum or interlocal agreement between Hill County and Johnson County for the use of our old transport van. Yes, sir. Any further discussion? Any further questions? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry. This the 24th day of August, 2021.
The fact that we have chains in the van.
They're not snow chain.
And not snow chains, that's right. All right, number 12, budget workshop. I put this on there as a catch-all for anything budgetary wise that's come along. Susan's been working on the budget. You got me another copy of it last night with a few corrections on some payroll things that have come along. You always find issues with it here and there. So we're making headway. As I mentioned earlier, I need to go back, gentlemen, look at autopsy and transport. We had just outside of our control. I think our JPs are doing a good job. I had a long talk with Judge Bradley yesterday regarding autopsy and transport. They're doing what they need to do, but it's just we're having a number of unattended deaths go up in this county. And I think COVID's driving a large part of it. So we're seeing some pretty significant expenditures out of that line. We increased it last year. We're probably going to increase it again this next year. I have told the sheriff, I am looking at, and I told Chief Deputy as well yesterday, I'm looking at the possibility of doing, trying to do something else about jailer pay. We don't have the money to take care of everybody, but I know what the difficulties we're having with jailers down there. Again, it's not 100%. It's a possibility I'm looking at as we run numbers if we can possibly afford to do this or not. Other items of concern, do you guys have anything that's come up since we last talked about budget? Because we're still on track at this point for the 7th of September to put this to bed. I have talked with Philip regarding his part-time position. We would like to increase the part-time position, that number by about 10,000. There's a pretty interesting candidate for that part-time position that would come on. This would not be a full-time position. It would not cost the county the insurance or those kind of benefits. But because you pay for experience, it would go up slightly. So that's something I would like to propose to you gentlemen here shortly. Again, we've talked about the incredible job that Phil and his team have done this year under some pretty trying circumstances. They have actually cut their budget multiple times at going this process and not asked for really anything extra. We had this conversation the other day, and I think it's something that I can support. I'm asking for a little extra in part-time this year. What else have we got?
When we talk about the content manager and time capture.
Yes, ma'am.
I put out the presentation because we didn't know that we were gonna have one today.
Oh, okay. I wondered about that.
I do have that scheduled for September 28th.
Okay.
Phil and I talked a little bit about this possible, the TCM, which is the content manager, which would replace the on-base. They're not gonna be able to roll that out this fiscal year because they're just that far behind on things, and especially, since we put them off. Is there any way you can cover those funds?
What's the cost on it?
It's around 40,000.
Okay.
That's set up, and I believe that's the first year's,
Is,
hosting as well as,
What's the subsequent year's hosting on? I hate to put it on the spot. I know. I'm sure it's substantially cheaper than our current solution, or we wouldn't do this. Okay, well, let's look at the budget and see what that's going to do, because the content manager is a needed replacement. Again, we've used a certain solution for a number of years, and I don't use their name because I don't want to bash and report. They've just got, exceedingly expensive for the service they provide. And we find as we brought on these other data management systems, Cartograph, Encode, that we don't have as much use for the old content management system that we did. So we don't need a Rolls Royce, we need a Buick. And we don't need to pay for a Rolls Royce, when a Buick will get us down the road just fine. So what we're trying to do is get back down to the Buick. And this content manager is used by offices from the treasurer's office. I believe it'll still be used by 911 in the long run. I will wind up using it. I don't know. The auditor may have, the auditor is, she give me the affirmative. And I believe maybe even the sheriff's office might as well. No, not for each office, for the whole project. I do know that it's for one-time cost for everybody in the county. So, but I don't know, because I haven't seen the presentation yet, exactly what all that encompasses.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's where we put budget workshop.
So I was wrong. It's less than that. The 40,000 was for the executime, which is the time clock management system.
Oh, good deal.
The Tyler content manager, which is what's going to replace OnBase. That was 18.
18,000.
As a one-time. That includes first year, which is 3,700. So the 3,742 or something, I think, was the recurring cost annually.
$3,742, not $37,000.
Correct.
All right, just
3,700.
wanted to clarify.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Because the other one was going, how much a year for maintenance?
31, 32,
1,000, not
30,
100.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a tenth.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer to go for the content management system.
And it's, we're so far doing business. We're
I'm glad
doing
you
so much
cleaned that up. It
business.
sounds so much better that way.
We are doing so much business with Tyler. And this is also a Tyler module, so it integrates into,
who already did this.
So the nice part about that is for our financial system, I believe there's going to be some interconnectivity between the financial system and the content management. So right now, if you pull up an encode, a payment or a payment to a vendor, well, then you've got to go over here in a separate program to pull this up. It'll put everything in one place. Oh, when I say this, I mean the invoice that it was in. So you go from this program to this program back and forth. This will allow it all to kind of mesh together so that when Susan sees a payment, oh, well, what was that invoice? Can click and there's the invoice right next to it that's in beside it.
And on the back of document, any backup documents, it is very antiquated what we're.
Beats the system we had when I got here, but you're right, it could be better. So
We specialize.
we're getting into the 21st century, kicking and screaming, but we're getting there.
Able terms got flooded out. That's just amazing. That takes me forever.
You know how hard I tried to kill that thing?
So is it possible that you can move the funds from this year?
I need to, before I say yes, I don't want to tell you something that's false. I have not looked at the budget specifically in regards to this. Let me run some numbers and get back with you. As a hypothetical, if the funds are there, do I have a problem encumbering it for this? No, I do not. I would be in favor of that if the funds exist. But I hate to tell you, yeah, we're going to encumber it, and then we turn around and there's nothing there to encumber. But yeah, I'm good with the concept of doing it. I just want to make sure that the actual dollars are there.
And that would come out of my software maintenance line.
I don't know that yet. Yes, ma'am.
So you're right to encumber the funds to this year or next year? You said it's gonna be a year out, so.
Oh, no, it's not gonna, the content manager is what we're talking about.
Well, instead of encumbering too, because it's $18,000, I can't make promises, but let's see what it looks like, just adding that to the software. Would you put that in maintenance or would that be capital outlay? I know it's just software we're buying, but it's not a,
Just put it in software.
okay, yeah. I think the transaction would be easier for us if we just did that. The encumbrance process is a pain because you got to go back with the auditors and make adjustments, make Susan's life more difficult.
We don't want to make it worse on you.
Not intentionally. We're going to do that unintentionally. So thank you. Appreciate it. Other things for budget workshop, other concerns, other things people are seeing, trends that we're seeing that are concerning since we first started this. Yes, ma'am.
Just the estimate of the sales tax revenue for increase.
I think we probably should. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still leery about that. I don't know. We didn't take the max. So the comptroller basically uses the average of the last 12 months. We went below that average simply because we are very conservative people here and our budget reflects that. We've been very good with the money. We have a nice, reserve in case we have a disaster. I would never go above that number, but at this point, it still continues to go. So we put 2,750, 2,750,000 in there, when I think our actual estimate was about 2,880 some odd thousand at the time we did this. I said, we're just slightly under. We don't want to make promises that we can't keep in the long run is our goal. So we'll look at those numbers again and see if there's anything there, if we're comfortable with that or not, but we'll definitely give you guys a heads up. Which means we're going to have another budget workshop next Tuesday. I apologize. I promise you, I'm not trying to just drag you in every Tuesday because I like you that much. And it's just, we need to get this put together, put to bed. I hope before the end of the day tomorrow to have a electronic copy or a paper copy. You tell me what you prefer of the budget out to you commissioners with all changes that we've made to date in budget workshops and things like that. So you can review it if you have any calls, questions. Of course, every elected official have that availability to review that document as well to make sure that we're still on. The more eyes we put on this budget, the cleaner the document always is. It's a better process when everybody can see it up front and knows what's going on. And of course, we'll make that available to the public as well. So I'll probably have you post that document on the website as we go through. Other thoughts?
I think 911 is going to have to be raised. If we do the
Supplies. Yes,
Supplies.
thank you. Thank you. That's
the 2,000, if the text dot is correct, and we have 1,000 additional residences
So-
each year.
for everybody to know this at home and online, what we're talking about is Commissioner Lake had a conversation with TxDOT, which I followed up on, and they are estimating 1,000 new entryways per year for the next 2 years for Hill County.
No residences.
I'm sorry,
Residents,
residences.
Not interest, but
Residences.
yes.
That's what they're predicting. Now, I don't know what they're using for that modeling. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people moving in. They know because they have to have permits to come off their roads to put a culvert in, things like that. So they've got some internal documents that are telling them 1,000
Is
new.
that countywide?
Yes,
That's county.
for Hill County.
I think that's a low number.
It could be, but with that being said, every time you put up a
Better
new.
than 10% growth.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not signing on saying it's 100% accurate. Just, that would put us beyond any other county in the state, that kind of growth. Well, yeah, even beyond Comal. Comal's only 9 something, I believe, this last year estimate. Anyway, that being said, the question becomes, and not question, the issue becomes, we are required, because by our own rules, to put a 911 addressing sign at every entryway. So if you're gonna put up 1,000, that's far exceeding the number of dollars we allocated for poles and signs in the last year. That means we're going to have to put more into the 911 sign maintenance budget. So just something to be cognizant of. Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing it up.
Probably fuel's gonna be up too, because that's gonna be a whole lot of driving. 1,000. I think she's running about 15 addresses per week right now. And now some of those are not a residence, but they do have to have an address, so you still have to put a sign out there. Like all the windmills have their own address.
The fuel, but she doesn't, she installs the signs, or she doesn't install the signs anymore, so.
No, but she has to go out, she usually makes 2 trips on the average out there, because you gotta get GPS and everything. And sometimes she gets out there and they have to put their sign out of the little flag up there. They're supposed to, so, you know, when you run from one end of this county, it's 40-something miles across my precinct, like my county. The whole county, it's a huge amount.
Mr. Ward is putting up the signs.
Here,
Okay. Do we need to look at his gas as well? All right, let's just look at it and see. So environmental,
Are we gonna be able to get him another deputy this year for environmental?
I don't see it happening right now. I'm hoping next year that's gonna be our year for that.
I think they're.
I hope so. I really hope so.
he's been an excellent
He's been a great hire.
addition.
The sheriff and the chief did a great job. That guy really knows the job well, avid learner of that job, and just the positive effect he's had on the county, really been great. Very appreciative of Jeff. What else we got? I know it's everybody sits around and what were you complaining about? What have you heard? Nothing? I think that's not what you're gonna tell me later. You're gonna hit me again. Okay, well, I guess that's not true. She didn't hit me often.
We already have another budget workshop next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Next Tuesday, we got to, I mean, we're on track right now. All of our notices postings are good for September 7th. I want to do it on September 7th. However, the reason we shot for September 7th is if a mistake is made, if something's not posted accordingly, if we find some glaring issue, something changed drastically, we still have time to repost and get it done before the October 1st deadline. So I'd rather not wait for the last minute because the stress level I'm experiencing right now is very elevated. I'd like to get that back down. But if there is something, we still have time to do it, but we try to give ourselves plenty of time.
Well, I'll just give you guys a heads up. I'm hoping to have some more definitive information next Tuesday. But so with our G Suite, which is where our Google for Government, where our emails hosted, Google Drive, all that sort of thing, which we use extensively. So we are. It's another thing that I discovered. We're licensed for this much. We're using this much. But I guess we were under a contract, and the contract seems to have expired, and so I got billed, and it's almost doubled.
Oh, wow.
So I'm trying to figure out, and I don't know, they've changed some of their terminology in how they refer to the package that we're under, and I think they're trying to bump us up to a higher tier, more expensive package, in addition to the fact that our contract has expired.
Oh.
We were paying around $28,000 a year for 315 licenses for our G Suite. That I got an invoice for 52, and I was like, whoa, you know, let's see what's going on here. So I've got to go back and get some better explanation as far as what package are you trying to put us under? How does it correlate to the package that we are? Is it basically the same as what we're already under, or can we go back like it's the Probably so, but we're licensed, so we currently have 261 active accounts. That's all, everyone's email accounts, additional email accounts, or secondary email accounts, you know. So 261, we're licensed for 315, so there's 54, you know, additional. Now, I don't want to drop down to 261 because, you know, people are always going to change it.
Yeah.
But there's a threshold there at 300. So since we're at 315, maybe it's because since we're at 315, they've got us in this upper, or this higher tiered package. If I went down to 295 or something, I could drop down to I think it's called the Business Plus
Okay.
tier package.
All the functionality we need with half the price we have.
I believe so, yes. So anyway, I just kind of give you guys a heads up. I want to try to get some more definitive information for next Tuesday.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We look forward to that.
I got some hard numbers on. I'm only gonna have 2 motor graders next year. I'm letting one go.
Okay.
Not gonna renew the lease on it. Caterpillar, I got some numbers. The question is, do we want to do the annual payment or monthly payment?
Annuals that are monthly.
Is there a savings between annual and monthly or no?
If you do monthly, there's like 9.9% interest. If you do it annually, there's no interest.
Annually it is. Yeah, you save the interest and the extra work for the months. That's not
And
terrible.
this is a flex lease, like the monthly payment would be like 4,200. And then after 36 months, it goes to 15.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Good too.
We'll see how it kind of works.
Yes, ma'am. Ms.
Not
Burkett.
trying to beat dead horse, but
Beat it.
kind of with enrollment is gonna be really fast, and it's not gonna be like years past. It's gonna be open Monday and Tuesday till 6 o'clock on Tuesday, and it's closed.
Because Wednesday, I need the numbers.
Because we're going to have to put that into payroll, for that payroll that starts, right?
And I gotta have those numbers to adjust and reflect on this current year's budget, because everything we talk about, everything is good, but until we see who enrolls for what, that's the, fine tuning the numbers is gonna be just slightly
And
off.
we have one less day processing this year because of holiday also. So Monday.
Oh,
We're
some,
not gonna be here, so it is gonna be tight.
ladies and gentlemen, something else we need to do at our next, I was not sitting there, Attorney. The next deal is, this is that time of year where we have to set our regular meetings. When do we want to meet? I'm fine and happy with Tuesday. We just need to take some official action on it since it's during our budget time. That is something else. And I have no problem if you want to go during this time as well and set the holiday schedule. There's a new national federal holiday that we'll be observing, which is June 19th, Juneteenth. The observation day next year may actually, I don't know, I need to look at the calendar. So that doesn't really affect our schedule too much, because since we dropped Texas Independence Day after last year, it's just going to put us back to where we were 2 years ago. Number of days off, so it doesn't really increase anything there. What else do we need to take care of?
Well, essentially those schedules, maybe I'll put those June.
Yeah, what you got?
Well, in terms of your enrollment, on Monday and Tuesday, that would have half of our sheriff's office will be off the work on Monday and Tuesday. So is
Have you all?
is there a way to do it Friday, Monday, so that I would have?
No, I would love to be able to do it Friday if we wanted this week, but the insurance company is pushing it, their
Okay,
stuff
well,
together.
let me call Daniel right after this meeting. Don't you leave. And we're going to explain the situation that we need just some sheriff's office time for this.
Because we have a lot, we have a good half dozen or a handful of people on FMLA. So I think that poses a problem for us too.
Now, this open enrollment is online, so you don't have to come here to do it. As long as they have,
It is gonna be online through Navigator, which we used last time. But yeah, I'm gonna push, they wanted to start it Tuesday, do it Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, I just told them we can't.
I got you.
We've got to have it Monday be a Tuesday. If they can push it to Friday, I'd be shocked.
Okay, well, we're gonna ask, you don't get, you don't get the cup of milk you don't ask for.
I don't know, ask them, you know.
If you would, please.
Well, if it's online, why can't they do it?
Yeah, if they
Friday
can,
before
if they
Monday.
can at least open it up online for a Friday for the sheriff's office, so they can start, and if there's problems or questions, maybe we can help work them through it somehow.
And I think that's the problem, they just didn't have, you know, it just takes a little bit to get it together so that they can, you know.
Okay, well,
So is there gonna be a link
It's
email
not
to
us,
us?
it's.
Oh, I don't know. so is there gonna be a link emailed to us for this online registration or some information coming out?
Yes, and I don't have all, that comes from them, so. I don't
Okay.
have that just yet.
All right, we'll follow up with them then.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've already let them know about the first of the month following, so. Do it, hopefully, as much hand holding as possible, we've got those numbers because, that also filters down to, all voluntary benefits. And we have to get the GL numbers from them once all of this settles.
I hate that. Go ahead, Sid.
We'll get it done.
I hate that we're doing this late, but the late review from the old company. And I will tell you though, I'm glad we got it done though. I think the benefit to the employees is much better. It's a much better deal for us at the end of the day. So I'm sorry for everybody for all the work. That's just the way it breaks sometimes. It's on top of everything else you got going on, but it's getting pulled off. And I appreciate that. All right, anything else for budget workshop? Errors and omissions, things we hadn't thought about? All right, well, we will schedule another budget workshop for next Tuesday's meeting as well. We'll have a special meeting. We're going to try to keep it short, but I know what that means. It'll get, loaded up, but we'll do our best. But just think about it. After the 7th, you don't have to see me, but maybe twice a month unless you're unlucky. So maybe. All right, anything further? We have a motion, second. We stand adjourned. Thank you for your attention to these matters today. All right. Let's see what was so stinking important that people kept blowing my phone up there for it.
There's a coffee made out there.